Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep today into something, well, pretty crucial for us as Christians, I think. It's all about how can we really help others? Truly
Yeah.
be there for people.
Yeah.
And lucky for us, we've got a great guide for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're looking at this book by Xavier Amador. It's called I Am Not Sick, I Don't Need Help, which that title alone, I think, speaks volumes.
Right. It's like that's the first hurdle, isn't it?
Totally. And the subtitle is How to Help Someone with Mental Illness Accept Treatment.
Yeah,
So obviously mental health is a big focus.
for sure.
But what we're going to find is that the ideas here, they apply to so many situations.
Absolutely. Anytime someone's struggling, really, and as Christians, we're called to be there, right? But how do we do that effectively? That's what we're exploring.
Exactly. So right off the bat, that title hits us with the truth bomb. How many times have we heard that? Or even maybe said it ourselves. I don't need help.
Oh, I've been there.
Right. And it's not always denial. Sometimes it's pride or fear or...
Oh, absolutely. That fear of vulnerability. And, tying this back to our faith, there's this whole concept of free will.
Right. God gave us free will.
Exactly. So we can offer help, but we can't force it on anyone.
It's that whole leading a horse to water thing.
Exactly. So how do we navigate that? How do we help while still respecting that person's choices?
And thankfully, Amador gives us some real practical tools for this. He introduces this approach called LEP.
Okay, I like this.
It stands for listen, empathize, agree, and partner.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting because it shifts the focus from fixing the problem to understanding the person.
Right. First we got to really listen.
And I don't mean just hearing the words.
Yeah. It's about being present, really absorbing what they're saying, even if it's hard to hear.
Exactly. And that in itself can be so powerful because it shows you care enough to really listen.
It builds trust, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this person actually gets me.
And then that empathize piece. This is where I think our faith can really shine.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, empathy is all about connecting with the person's emotions, seeing the situation through their eyes, feeling what they're feeling.
It's like putting yourself in their shoes.
Yes, and we see Jesus doing this all the time in the Gospels, right? He meets people where they are emotionally, he listens, he understands.
And he doesn't judge.
Exactly. So as Christians, we can try to follow that example, to respond with that same kind of compassion, even if we don't fully understand the situation.
Yeah, because sometimes just knowing someone gets it, that can be so helpful in itself.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then comes agree. Now, this doesn't mean agreeing with their choices, necessarily.
Right. Because sometimes people make bad choices.
For sure. But it's about finding common ground. Maybe you agree that the situation is tough or that their feelings are valid.
Okay, I'm seeing how this works.
It's about building connection, and once you have that connection, then you can move into the partner stage.
Which is...
Working together to find solutions. You're not dictating what they should do.
Right. It's not about telling them...
It's about collaborating. You're both on the same team.
Okay, so Amador gives us a framework for approaching these situations. But what about those times when we might be, enabling someone without even realizing it?
Yeah. That's tricky.
Right. We want to help, but we don't want to contribute to the problem.
And this is where our understanding of Christian love comes in. Because, yes, we're called to love unconditionally.
Right, Jesus loves us even when we mess up.
Exactly. But love also means wanting what's best for the other person, even if it's tough love.
So how do we find that balance? How do we help without enabling?
Well, Amador gives us some good insights here, too. It's about setting healthy boundaries. And again, this is where Emma2 can be so useful.
Okay, so give me an example.
Okay, let's say you have a friend who's constantly borrowing money, but never seems to get back on their feet. Using Emma2, you could listen to their struggles, empathize with their situation, and agree that it's tough.
Right, show them you understand.
Yeah. But then, as a partner, you could gently encourage them to take ownership of the situation. Maybe help them find resources for budgeting or financial planning.
So it's not about giving them a handout. It's about helping them learn to stand on their own.
Exactly. It's that whole teach a man to fish idea.
I like that.
And this applies to so many situations, right? Addiction, grief, relationship problems. In each case, we can use LEAP to offer support that's both compassionate and empowering.
So it sounds like the big takeaway here is that helping isn't about having all the answers or fixing everything for someone. It's about understanding, empathizing, and partnering with them. just like Jesus did.
Perfectly said. And as you all go out and try to live this out, I want to leave you with a question.
Okay, hit us.
How can you take these principles of Elliot and combine them with your Christian values? How can you be that source of strength and encouragement that helps others not just survive, but truly thrive?
That's a great question to think about. And hey, remember, you don't have to figure this all out alone.
Yeah, we've got each other.
Lean on your faith, your community. And, books like Amador's can give us some great tools to use along the way.
Absolutely. All right, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.